and welcome to Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. Today's chat is with Florian Ribul at Vex in Westgarth. I wrote about Vex for Broadsheet a few weeks ago and was keen to catch up with Flo again to hear more. He made me a coffee and we sat outside in the courtyard beneath the huge lemon tree. The way Flo talks about cooking and his life as a chef is captivating, and I could have easily listened for hours. But since opening a couple of months ago, Vex has garnered such a following that Flo and co-owners Rory Kennedy and Owen Probert have a big day ahead weaving their Vex magic. And I was keen to get home so I could share this glorious conversation with you. So here it is. I think you're going to love it. Hi Flo, thanks for talking to me again today.
Very glad to be here.
Well, this is your place, but I have spoken to you a lot because I wrote the article for Broadsheet and I had so many questions, and thank you for being so patient with me.
Not a problem. I felt like I was co-writing.
Yeah, you really were. And I did quote a lot of your things, like Vex being one letter off sex.
Yep. I'm using that a lot these days.
Yeah, you happy with that?
Definitely. Some people were surprised that it even came out because I'd always joked about saying it, and then I just kind of, every time I say it, the guys kind of like have a little giggle in the background, but I'm just going with it now.
I know, I was really pleased that it made it through the editing as well. I was like, yes.
Well, we literally just got written up in Monocle as well, and I said the same thing to him. He's like, well, I don't know if that's going to fly with the editors, and it didn't end up going in, so I was like...
Go Broadsheet.
Yeah.
So... Vex, which is hard for me to say in a New Zealand accent and for it to sound like you say it in Australia, but nevertheless, how long have you been going now?
We have just finished our second month of operating, and we've been in the space now for, I guess that makes it 5 months.
Yeah.
Sort of waiting.
Yes.
And taking our time and kind of trying to predict things.
Yeah.
But it's been good so far.
Yeah, and when I spoke to you initially, you were having limited numbers and now you're at full capacity?
No, not full capacity yet. Still got some limitations in place. But we're really fortunate that we sort of put a working model together that I suppose was a little bit experimental, but in essence is pretty old school. It was that whole notion of you're going to run a tight team and everybody has to be able to jump onto doing whatever needs to be done in that moment. And that sort of got us through... the restrictions, then being unexpectedly a little bit more busy than we thought we were going to be, really on edge. But at the same time, that's what we want it to be. Yeah. Didn't really want to overstaff or make things too easy on ourselves. It's much more important that we got a good idea of how to run the space. Yeah. And we've been able to do that through restrictions and then the light loosening of it too, so...
And you're working with friends too, aren't you? So
Yeah. We joke about if we're still friends or not. If we're allowed to say that. We are. We definitely are. No, it's been really good. I think above all things, like friendships are friendships, but we have a lot of professional respect for each other, which kind of partially predates that, partially just overlaps it. So, so far it's going really nicely. Yeah.
And I have to say, I always feel in two minds about fact checking, because obviously you have to fact check for articles, but if someone tells you they work somewhere, I just want to obviously believe that. But in fact checking, Elle May said how much she enjoyed working with you at Neighbourhood Wine, and I just really loved that because I had spoken to her for Conversation with the Chef as well, and she's so lovely and so incredible at what she does, and I just really loved, and I could tell that from you being here as well, that you are as well. But just, it's always nice to hear really lovely things about people, and everyone said that about all of you. So it's
that's great. I think good people attract good people.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't work out. But the people that you've worked with remain good people. You're good people. It's nice to breed a little community here in Melbourne, I guess, where that's sort of happening a fair bit. Yeah. Working with Alma was great. Neighbourhood was an awesome experience, and obviously those guys are just kicking huge goals. It's immensely impressive.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, you'll hear the same thing from Owen, who, you know, was at Marion, which is just, you know, a monster, is doing great things, and some of the other people we work for. Just been really fortunate.
Yeah, and Little Andorra looks like a great place as well.
That's beautiful. Totally understated and underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks awesome. It doesn't really matter who's there. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
And always got interesting wine.
And where did it all start for you? What made you become a chef?
Failing at art school for the most part.
Oh.
Yeah.
One door closes.
Yeah, well, basically I had to start paying bills. So hospitality was a pretty quick in. And I went from pouring pints in a pub to being a waiter in the bistro next to it, and then eventually seeing that the kitchen was having a lot more fun. And for me, it was that bridge between a craft, a trade, and a bit of an artistic pursuit at the same time.
And where was that?
I started out in Perth, and yeah, pub life for a little bit, before deciding to get a little bit more serious about it and finding some restaurant work, which slowly developed. I did my apprenticeship over there, and then packed my bags and headed off to Austria and then London.
Because you've got family in Austria.
Yeah, basically the entire family's Austrian.
Yeah.
Just my little family module sort of has been moving since I was born, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so Perth to Austria, and you're working over there as well?
Yeah. I went and actually stayed with my aunt and uncle in this tiny little village, and there was a new up-and-coming chef there who just gotten a couple of hats in his first year, and tiny little fine diner that was only open 3 nights a week, part of a small family-run hotel, and that was amazing. Just in like the base of a valley, going foraging a lot in the forest that were just up the slopes, and getting to meet a lot of local producers and stuff. It was very, very hyper seasonal and fun. Yeah.
So was that? It sounds like it was quite a small thing, but obviously it had a really good name. So was it really busy?
Like, it was as busy as it could be, because it was essentially 2 people or 3 people in the kitchen running a place, trying to do, 14 courses for maybe a maximum of 25 people a night.
Yeah. And that's European, or so not just Austrian food, but more...
Yeah, I think the Austrian fine dining scene was largely sort of like French influenced anyway. But it was basically using purely just produce from his little region. So he had no option but to kick in a fair bit of Austrian. So that's where a lot of my sort of like inspiration comes from these days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Kind of ended up happening. I don't know. I never really thought I'd start cooking more Germanic Austrian food, but it's just happened.
I was on exchange in Germany a very long time ago. So my recollection of, and I was up in Lübeck, and so I just remember the Wurst and the and maybe we went to Munich and we had Weisse Wurst, Würster.
Yeah.
And Kaffee und Kuchen, but I don't really remember it being great food. But that was a long time ago.
Look, to be fair, I think it is in a lot of areas, like particularly inspiring. Like it's pretty straight down, like the barrel kind of stuff. It's your sausage and mustard and horseradish and bread. But yeah, I think like around the sort of cities and stuff, like in the smaller communities and stuff where there's a bit of farming happening, it's some really delicious stuff, and like really unique kind of processes. Like we're about to bring on I'm about to start recipe testing some stuff that, stuff I hadn't seen anywhere else before, except for in this one tiny little part where I happen to be working. So I've got a couple of more Austrian things coming on just because of it.
That's the beauty of it too, isn't it? And European countries, many European countries, they are very, very regional in their food, and they do only do it in that region, and I think that's incredible. It's like, if I was to be properly seasonal, as you chefs are, and only eating or cooking food in that season, it's really incredible in that season, and then you wait the whole year. I think when you go to that town and you have that particular thing, it brings a specialness to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
I think it's like. It's a very hard one. Like I particularly love like good produce that is well grown and in season, and it just kind of means that like there's probably only about 2 months of the year where I can actually be eating tomatoes. And the rest of it, I just can't deal with it. It's like it kind of has ruined it for me since like learning what that is.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for me anymore.
I want to be like that. I want to be really, what's the word? Discerning. And instead I'm like, tomatoes.
Oh, look, I say that, but I have 2 children, so at the end of the day we buy whatever they want, and like it's going to be there anyway, so,
I mean, I was following a really interesting Instagram story of what's his name? Oh, I've just forgot his name. The whole story's not. Nicola at Hardware Club with his child, and he would, he's talking about being a chef, and then what his child will actually eat, and it must be challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a moment of pride in like Emil, my son, had his first oyster here, like on our first Sunday open, so that was pretty cool. And he's into it now, which is, I can't wait to take him oyster eating.
Yeah.
But yeah, like kids can surprise you. Like he's a pickle fiend.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Now, so from Austria then, how long were you there?
Only for a year.
And then to London?
Yeah.
And where did you work in London?
I was at this place called the Clove Club, which was a sort of, I guess, up-and-coming fine diner at the time, which has done some really big stuff. And that was a bit of an eye-opener as to what like real fine dining kitchens are like.
Yeah. So hierarchy or?
Yeah, a bit of hierarchy, a little bit of, British fine dining attitude.
Bit shouty?
Oh, not the shoutiest kitchen, I don't think, but like there was a little bit of like a little bit of quiet aggression floating through there. Type of place where you don't leave your tea towel lying down because it'll just disappear behind you, and little bits and pieces that you have to learn along the way.
Yeah.
A lot of long hours.
Yeah.
But like definitely, if you're young enough and you can deal with it. I mean, I think it exists less and less these days, especially in Australia, but it definitely forms you into learning how much you can do in 15 minutes and, working much cleaner and more organised than you ever thought you could. And
yeah,
definitely pushing your limits a little bit.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, they often, older chefs talk about the discipline of the kitchen and how that does, it can instill that into you, and it has its place, perhaps. I don't know. I think, as you say, it has its place less and less because, yes, you need to be disciplined, but there's possibly another way to get there. I
totally agree. There's a reason why I left it and didn't want to go back to that kind of system. I think that those kinds of places will probably always exist. I think that they're becoming much less brutal than what they were, but having said that, I haven't been in it in a fair while. But I totally agree. I think that like you go through those experiences to figure out whether or not you're going to be that kind of person, or if you're going to actively seek to not be that person. It was very clear for me that I didn't want to be in a type of environment where you felt like certain notions of brutality were going to get the best out of people, because I don't think it does.
No.
I think it's just ruling with fear. Yeah. And definitely did a bit of a stage in Austria as well at another fine diner where that was the first time I'd seen an actual, it felt like you were in a military-esque system, and there was just somebody barking at the front and people jumping too, and I just had never seen that kind of attention before.
And I wonder what that does. And I know people go there and they dine in these places and the food is beautiful and people have a really good experience, but I just have this woo-woo idea that, that the people that are making the food, I think that energy can go into the food. And I don't know, I just would rather that food was being made with in a more loving environment and a collegial environment. And
That's exactly it. I think that you usually in those kind of places, a lot of them are closed kitchens for a very good reason. You're probably not seeing a lot of smiles coming out. That's fine. Maybe you can call it focus, but I think above all things, if you can't enjoy your work properly, genuinely enjoy it and be excited to go there, be part of something that is exciting, because you're actually just kind of scared about making the next mistake. It doesn't really further your skills either. You're not really getting a chance to sort of really bring the best out of yourself and maybe surprise yourself every now and then. It's very closed and one track, and I felt like a lot of the stuff that I learnt in London, for instance, like I probably did not execute that anywhere near as well as I did once I took it out of that context and started working with it in a more relaxed environment. So doing a lot of the stuff that I learnt there, I only really started getting to grips with properly well after.
That's really interesting, isn't it? I feel like that was a bit the same. It's not the same at all, but for me, learning French, learning French for so many years, even being in France, it wasn't until I came back and had to teach it and then sort of grew to love it more that it really flowed for me. I don't know if that's a similar... I'm just making up analogies now, but that is really interesting.
I think that's actually generally how I kind of ended up being with cooking as well. I knew that I loved it and massive interest and I was immersed in it, but I think I sucked for a long time. I'm very happy to admit that. And if you talk to Rory, co-chef and owner, he was the sous chef where I was the apprentice. So we formed up friendship initially in a kitchen where he was my senior, the same age. And he will tell you 100 stories of how awful I was. Like a truly awful apprentice for a fair while there. Just could not get my shit together.
So something has to click, doesn't it?
Yep. I think it does. I think just eventually it does. And I think that also that is that, like for me it was nerves, I'd say a lot of nerves. And it was a lot of sort of like compounding pressure upon myself, which I'm very good at, and coming to terms with a lot better with age, but also it's just because just letting it relax a little bit. Once you start realising that you're not completely useless, it does kind of flow a little bit better.
It's interesting, isn't it? And I think it does come with age as well, is that they often say imposter syndrome, but that feeling of someone's going to find out I'm not really that good at it, and then you just step over that and you go, but actually I am good at this, so I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that like caring less about what people think as well, you know, that helps.
How does that work in Melbourne, where there is so much there's a lot of other restaurants, people, everyone's a critic and everyone can write about food, and and everyone's got an opinion. Do you read what's written about you?
Look, we keep an eye on it.
Well, for you, it's all good. So
we're lucky. We're fortunate. Firstly, in that Rory, myself, and Owen, like none of us are particularly like big industry insiders. We don't really move in very big hospo circles. There's not a lot of that sort of thing. We're already a little bit removed from it, and there was a little bit of a worry about opening a place for three of us, and like nobody's really that like massively connected. Like we've definitely got friends in the industry and stuff, but it's not like we're going around to a lot of venues and playing the Instagram games and stuff like that.
Be good.
But when we do read stuff online, like about what we're doing, and like most of it's been quite positive, we have to find our own way to deal with that. We've decided on just posting Joe Strummer quotes. Like that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. We're just going to post Joe Strummer quotes because he was never wrong. So
I'm
going to go with that.
Yeah, good tact.
I just hope it brings a laugh every now and then when people read it.
Now, I really love the photos that went along with the broadsheet article that I wrote, and it was Kate.
Yes, it was, yeah. And
she really takes great photos, and it reminded me of how much I loved eating those turnips. Now, ideas like the turnips and smoking them over feijoa wood and all of those kinds of things, and what you were doing with the leaves and making the most of everything. This is such a dumb question. How do you know how to do all that?
That's a lot of that comes through passion projects. I think I got into fermenting for a fair while, still do it, and I think once you got the basis of a couple of those sort of things, you kind of realize what's going to work well with it. The turnips, the smoked and glazed turnips in themselves it's already off the menu because they're not really very good anymore. That for me is a pretty good representation of who we are. That was a very personality based kind of snack. It's a little bit in your face. It's a little bit awkward, actually. And it's one of those things that makes you think for a minute. It's the salty, sweet, sour, smoky,
and the fact that it's turnips, because you don't very often see turnips.
And it's just one of those things. I think that like it was kind of a really awesome snack to be able to start off with, because it just kind of represents a little bit of what Vex is in itself. You know, we're gonna keep sort of putting things out there that might need a little bit of thought. You know,
what's the turnip on the menu now?
Well, we've changed it into something that's probably a little bit more approachable, but I think we currently have a tomato dish on that is like an anti-tomato dish in a way. Like, it's really not... I just, you know, it's the type of thing where I said I didn't want to put on a tomato dish with like a fresh cheese and a herb kind of thing. Like, I just, like, done it plenty. We're doing it with like... They're sort of like warm through the oven, peeled and warm through the oven. Slow roasted down a little bit, and then served with like a caramelized whey sauce and horseradish and linseed crackers, and it's a plate of brown and red. It's like the least summery tomato dish you've ever seen, but it's super interesting and delicious, I think.
Yeah.
And I just like, sometimes you just want to put a different perspective on things that people probably just have a lot of anyway at this point in time. So
I'm getting more of a sense of the name Vex now too. I can see what you're doing here.
yeah, a little bit. We're sort of like, yeah, like it's definitely a world away from like when I first started writing menus, and it was all like blood and hearts and livers and you know, still veg focused, but like lots of fats through it. Like, I was just throwing a lot of offal at people.
Yeah.
Which I still love, but yeah, I've definitely like learned to restrain from as well.
Well, that brings its own challenges, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we write a small menu so that people are kind of like a little bit bottlenecked into like having our way a little, like at this point in time.
Yeah.
But I think there's still plenty of approachable things on there too.
Do you think about food all the time?
Yes. Yeah, mostly. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever stop, to be fair. Like, it starts off with produce, but like sometimes like I don't conceptualize dishes too much. You know, like in the kitchen here, we, you know, with Rory and Owen, like much like everything that we do here, we kind of do it together, and it's when raw produce comes in, we're going to have a look at it, you know, have a taste of it, and then sort of start having discussions around it. Everybody's got a different reference point, so whatever I think about something, the other two might have different ideas. You know, it's always going to be a little bit like that, but at the end of the day, yeah, food is kind of everything.
It's a good place to end.
Pretty much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to read the full transcript of the conversation, you can go to www.conversationwithachef.com or follow me on Instagram, so you'll always be up to date with the latest conversation.